Hi, I'm Libby from NJACP. I'm here with Joanna Miller, who is an incredibly active member of NJACP. She's the past president, serving on the NJACP board on member resources, is been very active here today before the conference, which we're really excited about tomorrow. But I know there's been lots of work before today leading up to the conference. I had the privilege of coming out and seeing your organization, the Department for Persons with Disabilities, Catholic Charities, Diocese of Paterson, where you serve as the executive director. Mm-hmm. I was so moved by coming out to your day program and meeting some of the incredible individuals you serve. And Joanna, at that meeting, and it wasn't even a meeting, it was really a visit, you told me a story about Walter. And I'll say that I have since told that story to countless people, and almost every time that I do, it brings tears to my eyes. Can you share that story? Well, actually, before you share the story, talk a little bit about your organization, what you do, what led you to this space, and then what you share about Walter.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here today. It's my pleasure. It's great to be back here in Atlantic City for the conference. It's a wonderful event. I have actually been at DPD, as we call ourselves, Department for Persons with Disabilities, Catholic Charities, for 28 years now. Actually started out prior to being at DPD as an AmeriCorps member in the inaugural class of AmeriCorps back in
I didn't even know that.
My days after college, and worked with at-risk youth for a year, and then worked for an organization that was starting services for IDD and had the opportunity to really build a program and build up services from the ground up, which was really amazing at that time. And then I came to DPD, to Catholic Charities, and have been here since 1997, working in various roles, really starting as IT support, pre-service trainer, trained many folks in the space throughout Passaic County back in the day when we had the contract for all of the provider agencies that did that in person at the time prior to CDS. And from there became our quality assurance, quality improvement director, assistant executive director, associate executive director, and now serve for the past 8 years as the executive director. So I've been really fortunate to be with this organization for such a long time. And I love it. We provide residential, vocational, day hab services, support coordination in Sussex County as well. Our other services operate in all 3 counties of the diocese, Morris, Passaic, and Sussex County. And we serve a whole host of individuals with varying needs and varying capabilities, and it's a wonderful place to be. And we were founded in 1965 by Father Jack Werlin, Monsignor Werlin, as we call him. And Father Werlin was such a charismatic priest in the Diocese of Paterson and a young parish priest back in the late 60s, early 70s. And many people knew him, were drawn to him to come and volunteer. And some of the individuals who volunteered with him as high school students are still involved in some way, even after their retirement. They were staff for 20, 30, 40 years at DPD, and post-retirement, they're still around. They're still part of the family. We serve individuals at DPD who have been with us for over 50 years.
It's amazing.
Our oldest individual just turned 89 years old. She was one of our original residents at Murray House. And Murray House is the longest running group home in the state of New Jersey. Began in 1971. We just moved it within the city of Clifton to a single-story ranch home so that folks can age in place. We're really excited, but it is the longest running group home in the state of New Jersey, so we're happy to have that at DPD as well. And so Father Werlin, one of the very unique stories about him, Libby, is that he knew many folks in the community, and in this story I'm about to tell you about Walter, he actually knew the police in Jersey City. And he knew a gentleman who was named Walter Barton. And Walter was a shoeshine boy from Jersey City. This was the late 60s, early 70s, had long gray hair, older gentleman who happened to have disabilities. And Walter's mom passed away. And when his mom passed away, the police didn't know what to do for Walter, didn't know how to help Walter. And so they came to Father Werlin and they said, Father, can you help us? We know that you have services. He had just started his programs in the Diocese of Paterson for individuals with disabilities, and actually we have 100 acres of property up in Jefferson Township, and we call it Wigan Farm. And back in the day, he said, I went to the bishop, I was a young parish priest, and I knew we had this property, and I must have been crazy. I asked him if I could use this property for our services, and he said yes, and we've been there ever since, and we've grown from there. But on that property, on that farm, Wigan Farm, there was a farmhouse. And individuals with disabilities lived there with volunteers. All of the individuals that worked there that were there were volunteers. They weren't staff back in the day, in the early 70s. And Walter was one of the individuals that the police came to him and said, "Can you help?" And he said, "Sure." He can come live on the farm with us. And so one of the things that Father Werlin did was everyone had a job, something to make their day meaningful. To give them some independence. And Walter's job was walking up to the mailbox at the top of the driveway that was about 50 yards up from the farmhouse. And one August day, hot, humid, typical New Jersey day in the middle of summer, Walter went up to the mailbox. It was a big green mailbox, larger than usual. It actually still sits there on Weldon Road in Jefferson Township at the corner of our Wigan farm. And he went up to the mailbox, came back to the house, and was seated in the living room. And our executive director, Julie Taddy, who had been with the agency for over 40 years, was there that day. She was folding laundry in the other room, and she heard a strange noise. And she went in, and there was Walter seated on the couch with a newborn baby in a blanket.
Oh, my goodness.
Someone had left the baby in the mailbox. And they must have known that Walter went to that mailbox several times a day, and they knew that if they put that baby there, that baby would be safe. And Walter was a man of few words. Many of the words that he used were expletives. He would also say, "None of your business." And Julie, of course, called the police. The police came, took the baby. It was a baby girl. Took the baby. The baby was fine. The baby was adopted out through Catholic Charities to a good family. And to the day that he died, Walter said, "The cops took my baby." That was his baby. If Father Werlin had told him anything that was in that mailbox except for the bills was his. And so that was his baby. And about 21 years later, a woman, and there were newspaper articles written in the local newspapers in Jefferson, a woman came to the office with that newspaper article. And our receptionist was there, and she showed it to her, and she said, "Is Walter here?" And the receptionist, of course, knew the story, and she said, "I'm sorry, Walter's passed away." But Julie was still working for us at the time. She said, "But Julie's upstairs. Let me get Julie." Julie came down and said hello to the woman. And the woman said, "I'm the baby." And 21 years later, Walter, an individual with special needs, who was given the opportunity to provide, independence, to do something, to have a job, to give to his household, saved that baby's life. And that woman actually went on to medical school and is a doctor now. And because of Walter, she's saving countless other lives. And that's a story that we share with many, as I did with you and all who visited that day from NJACP. And it's just an example of the fact that the individuals who we are lucky enough to know and privileged enough to support never, ever underestimate the gifts and the talents that they can bring to this world. It really is tremendous. And so we always remember Walter, and we're privileged and grateful that we had him in our agency at DPD all those years ago. And we have many other folks just like that, but that is one of the most remarkable stories that we hold close.
It is, and it is an extraordinary testament to the human impact. Mm-hmm. And at NJACP, we're the New Jersey Association of Community Providers, focused on the services that you provide in the community. But I would also say I'm so profoundly moved by the community within all of these organizations. And that comes, Joanna, from you and the extraordinary leadership that you bring and the people that make up these organizations. So it's certainly a privilege for me to hear these stories and be able to share. And I'm really so profoundly moved by what you do and your organization and the lives that you impact every day. So thank you for sharing Walter's story. And
You're
I hope
very welcome.
Those that listen will do the same.
Yes.
Because it's important and incredibly impactful. So,
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure. You're welcome.